First and foremost, and I give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai Ba'ashim Rakakudash, and double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Today's video, I wanted to go into speak the words of prophecy. Okay, when it comes to the scriptures, when it comes to the gospel, a big part of it is constantly going over what is going to happen in the future, and that's not going to change. Because when you go into, what spirit you're supposed to be in, it says that the testimony of Yahushai is the spirit of prophecy. So prophecy is always supposed to be at the forefront, and prophecy doesn't change. So this is Revelation 19:10. It says, "And I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, See thou do it not, and I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahushai." Worship God, for the testimony of Yahushai is the spirit of prophecy, right? So if the Holy Spirit is dwelling with you, the Lord is supping with you, you're going to be focused on what's taking place. You're going to be focused on getting a greater understanding as to the end time prophecies. Now, that doesn't mean, you're going to be able to understand all of them, especially if, your lot is not to be a teacher. You're just a believer. But even if just you're a normal believer, you should have a general understanding of what's going to take place, right? You should have a general understanding of the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip. Have a general understanding of the thermonuclear destruction. Understand how America is Babylon the Great. Understand how, this is all prophesied, even all the kingdoms that ruled before us, the Assyrian Babylonian Empire, the Medo-Persian Empire, the Greek and Roman Empire, how it was all written in the scriptures that it was going to happen. So you're supposed to have a basic level of understanding. And that basic level of understanding is ultimately what's going to sustain you on this walk, okay? Because it always goes back to that is, what are we looking forward to? And the answer is the kingdom. It says that in Hebrews, how here we have no continuing city, but we seek one to come. That is in Hebrew chapter 13 and verse 14. For here have we no continuing city, but we seek one to come. Right? This is not our rest. As the scriptures say in Micah, Depart ye, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. This is polluted and shall destroy you. America, anywhere in this world, is not our rest, because this place is completely ran by wickedness. So the mentality of the elect is to be looking forward to something new, looking forward to the kingdom, looking forward to righteousness, looking forward to this kingdom collapsing. Not looking to, a 100-year plan. You go to a new job, they'll ask you, what's your 10-year plan? And my 10-year plan is to see Yahushua come back, Lord willing. I'm not trying to think about dying in this place, because this place is only going to get more wicked. Just imagine in 10 years how life will be, so-called life, because this ain't life. Imagine how wicked it's going to be if right now we have these YNs and these, girls being straight whores. If that's the young generation, which eventually will be the adults, and they're going to influence the younger generation and, so on and so forth, imagine how bad it's going to be. Terrible. So this is why we need Yahushua. This is why we need the prophecies to happen. And you should be looking forward to the prophecies happening. Okay, I've heard before people say, y'all just say the same things over and over again. Y'all are a broken record. Right? You go out to camp and speak about the same things. Well, guess what? That's the way it's supposed to be. The prophets are supposed to prophesy, and the song that they sing is not supposed to change. It's supposed to blow the same tune every single week, every single day. As a trumpet, as a, Salaki, as those people, outside the city that are up on the tower, a watchman, right? When he sees danger, he blows that trumpet. And a certain sound, that he can blow, it will let the people know that, this is danger. Versus he might blow another sound where it lets the people know that, it's an ally, or, there are certain sounds that they can make. And right now, the sound we are pushing is that the end is near. And that's another thing. You have a lot of people saying, my great-grandma's been saying that. Well, guess what? Your great-grandma, your grandma, your mom, your dad, they didn't know the prophecies. And that's the key delineator, is that the Lord has truly opened up the knowledge of the Bible today. The prophets are on the scene right now as we speak. And this is why we truly understand that the end is near, because the prophecies have been revealed. Back when your great-grandma, were saying that, oh, the Lord is coming back and nothing happened, it's because they didn't understand the timeline. They didn't understand, Babylon the Great is America. They didn't understand the mark of the beast is the RFID microchip, because it hadn't happened yet. But now we see how everything is plain, as it says, right, that in Habakkuk chapter 2. Let's get that. And I'm kind of all over the place just through the Spirit. It says Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 1, it says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. And that's what we're seeing right now, is that the vision is plain. It's very, very clear what's happening, and it's happening exactly as is written. Verse 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. So everything is going to happen in this specific time. And if you go into the book of Esdras, it talks about how, he doth not move nor stir. Let's get that. 2 Esdras 4 and 37, by measure hath he measured the times, and by number hath he numbered the times. And he doth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. All right, so everything has a specific time frame. And before one thing happens, the other thing can't take place. So, example, we know that those nuclear missiles can't go flying until the mark of the beast is made mandatory. And that type of knowledge is something that 100 years ago, people didn't have. So that's why, they would fall into that way of thinking of it's finally happening, when they didn't have the knowledge of the prophecies. And that's why the knowledge of the prophecies trumps everything. Okay, everything. It makes everything clear. For example, you hear a lot of so-called Christians talk about how salvation is for all nations. You know how you easily cut that? Prophecy. You go into Isaiah, the 2nd chapter, and you bring out how the other nations are going to have to come to Jerusalem to learn the law. And the reason why is because they're not part of the second covenant, as the Israelites are. And part of the second covenant is that the law, statutes, and commandments are going to be in the inward parts of the Israelites, and that the Israelites are not going to have to teach each other, because every single Israelite since a baby is going to know all the laws. It's going to be autonomous. The same way you don't have to think about breathing or digesting food. It's going to be the same way if we keep the laws. We're just going to do it naturally in those incorruptible bodies and being immortal. So that's prophecy. Prophecy makes everything clear. And ultimately, the prophecies are not meant for everyone to be able to understand and explain. It's only for the prophets. You can read about that in Amos chapter 3 and verse 7. It says, surely Yahweh power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets. Right, and that's the way that the Most High set it up. It started with his prophets, teaching, prophesying, as you see right now happening. The men of the great millstone and those that teach the same doctrine. And from there, the whole world has learned. But before that, there was nobody talking about Babylon the Great, the nuclear destruction, being able to explain these things. And the reason why is because it wasn't time yet. It wasn't time for the Great Awakening. But that's what we're seeing right now. Is as is written in Ezekiel chapter 37. And I'll end it with this. Those bones, that flesh is coming back upon those bones. This is Ezekiel chapter 37 verse 9. It says, then said he unto me, prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, thus saith Yahweh, come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. Right, the slain is going into the valley of the dry bones, which when you go into what that was talking about, it was talking about the Israelites, how spiritually they are dead. And that's going into our people today. Our people don't know who they are, where they come from, their heritage. Nothing at all. Spiritually, they are dead. They are disconnected from their Creator. But through the prophets, those bones, those slain, that breath was going to enter into them and they were going to live, as it says in verse 9. And that's going into prophesying and teaching the word. So verse 10 says, "So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived and stood up upon their feet, an exceeding great army." And that is what we're seeing right now. That is why this world has gotten the whole world upside down. It's turned the whole world upside down when it comes to, so-called religions. Completely. Everyone is talking about the so-called Hebrew Israelites and this and that, and they can't confound it. They bring out the same basic scriptures of John 3:16 and, so on and so forth. Very little basic understanding when those are kindergarten type, that's the milk, man. That's very, very low level when it comes to the scriptures. But as I say, you could drown a Christian with milk. You could drown a baby with milk. If you don't know anything about the scriptures, explaining to someone that Babylon the Great is America is the biggest mind blown ever. But to someone that knows, it's like, hey, yeah, we already know that. So the point, prophecy. It's all about prophecy. And the more you focus on prophecy, the more your eyes single, the more you realize that everything is just vain. Everything is pointless. And at the end of the day, these things will happen. So I'll leave it there. Hopefully this was edifying. With that, and give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kakodash, and double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me his truth. Shalom to your elect. Shalom.